Hello everyone, I'm Nini FC and this is CWANless TV, and welcome to another Transfer Daily video. And you guys, there's a few stories I've got to break down for today. The first story is in regards to Kovacic and Chelsea making contact with him. I'm going to be talking about Kasper Schmeichel links. I'm going to be talking about Rabiot links as well. And I'm going to be talking about Kennedy and Newcastle interest. But before I get straight in the video, you know what the deal is. Smash the like button, help me get more than 500 likes for today's video, and press the bell notification button as well to stay tuned to all things CWANless TV. But of course, I gotta start with the Kovacic story. Now you guys, this story is coming from Damasio, and basically he's stating that Chelsea have made contact with Real Madrid about Kovacic, and that's pretty much it. There's literally nothing else to the story other than that. And obviously when Damasio did announce the story, literally it was in like, you know, it's like he summarized all the transfers of the day, and the Kovacic story was right at the end of everything being discussed. So, you know, make of that what you will. But you guys, you know what this Transfer Daily show is about? It's about me giving my thoughts and opinions, breaking down the stories from the rumours, etc, etc. And that's what I'm going to do with this story. Now, the first thing is Kovacic does fit the profile of player that we do want in midfield. And what profile is that? That is the deep line playmaker. In a way, the Javi of the team. Of course, Kovacic does fit that role. He is a deep line playmaker himself. Fantastic passing. He's good defensively. The guy likes to get stuck in with tackles. This is why he's able to play in a two-man midfield as well. His close control with the ball at his feet is very good as well. I think him and Seri are very good when it comes to that ability. You know, that close control, the skill to skip past people. You know, that ability where the ball's coming to you, people are trying to close you down and tackle you. You can still keep your heads cool. You have the technical abilities to get past the man and beat the press, and you know where to play the pass. So Kovacic is very good when it comes to that, and that's the type of midfield player that we need more of in this team. Now he does want to leave, and it's because of a lack of game time, and of course he has been criminally underused. Now when Benitez was the manager at Real Madrid, that was when he was the one that vouched for the signing of Kovacic when he was very young. And Kovacic has always had a very big reputation ever since he was very young. He had a very good season in Serie A before Real Madrid signed him, but since then he really hasn't been able to play as much, and it's understandable when you've got Toni Kroos and Modric, you know, two guys that are like the upgrade version of you, playing ahead of you, and you've got Kasper in the team because, you know, you need a defensive midfield player to use both of them. And he struggled for game time, and, you know, he definitely wants to move. He's 24 years old now. Of course, playing, you know, first team for Croatia in the World Cup, it's going to make a guy think, it's going to make a guy want more, and he's realised that he can't get that game time at Real Madrid. And the alleged asking price that Madrid want for Kovacic is £53 million, which is quite a lot of money when you guys compare that to Seri. And when you think about too that they're a very similar type of player, and you're potentially paying more than 20 million extra for Kovacic. Yes, I know he is 2 years younger compared to Seri, but is it really worth that 20 million difference? I'm not quite too sure, to be honest. I think it makes much more business sense for Chelsea to target a Seri and then, you know, spend that extra money on getting the key players for the upgrade positions. You know, guys up front, someone on the right hand side as well. That's going to make a much bigger difference to the team. There's no point spending the extra money on Kovacic if he's going to have Pedro to play up front with. It really doesn't add up in my opinion, but if you've got someone like Seri who's cheaper than Kovacic and you spend that extra 20 million on someone like Leon Bailey, you know it's going to be much more beneficial for the team. Still, you guys, we can't forget that it's only contact that has been made. Contact gets made all the time. You want to find out about the availability, the prices, negotiations, all that type of stuff. So just because contact has been made doesn't mean he's coming. It just means that, again, it's another player in the list of players that fit the profile of midfielder that we're looking for. Now, there's a few small things. Obviously, looking at Kovacic's past form, especially against bigger opposition, I wouldn't say necessarily he's been that amazing, but again, there is context behind things. Of course, not playing very often, not playing first team, you know, coming on as a substitute quite a lot of times, it is going to affect things. And let's be serious, there's been so many players that have left big clubs like Madrid where they haven't been able to get the game time and their careers have still flourished and gone on to new heights. So it doesn't mean he's a bad player. Still though, I would be interested in Kovacic if his asking price does get low. I think Madrid are asking for quite a lot, 53 million for someone that isn't a first team player. But again, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with these developments. Now, moving on to the next story, and that's in regards to Kovacic and Rabiot. Now, this story has been brought out by Alfredo Padilla, of course, the the infamous Italian reporter that's breaking a lot of news surrounding Maurizio Sarri. Now, he's reported last night that recent contact between Chelsea and Rabiot has been made during the past few hours. Now, the reason as to why Chelsea have contacted Rabiot is the fact that his contract is expiring within a year. Now, Man United and Juventus are also interested in his services. Alfredo says that Rabiot has been discussing terms with Enrique, the sporting director at Paris Saint-Germain right now, because he does want a new contract. And I can imagine you guys rolling your eyes already. We know what this normally means. But Paris Saint-Germain are preparing for a worst case scenario. If they can't find an agreement with Rabiot, they will sell him, and the asking price they do want for him is about 30 million euros. Now, you guys, this is the part where I give my thoughts and opinions on the story. Now, just to let you guys know, this would be the second time that we try to talk to Rabiot to try and get a deal done. If you guys cast your minds back to 2014, that was the year when we signed guys like Cesc, Costa, Pasalic and Zuma. Chelsea made a 7 million offer for Rabiot. At the time he was 19. That was because he was threatening to leave Paris Saint-Germain because he felt like he couldn't get any guaranteed first team football. He didn't feel confident or comfortable with his future at the club, especially as he was spending crazy amounts of money on players. Of course, things did change. As I did tell you guys during my Laurent Blanc videos when I was discussing him, Rabiot's mum actually put a lot of pressure on Laurent Blanc to play him. Laurent Blanc can be a bit weak at times. He did give in to those demands, and Rabiot has played a crucial part at Paris Saint-Germain since. Still, something tells me that I see Rabiot doing this again to try and put pressure on Paris Saint-Germain to give him a much bigger contract. But I do feel that Paris Saint-Germain have obviously invested a lot of time in Rabiot. Of course, they've given in to his demands. Of course, they've used him more. I think the most telling sign was the fact that when Matuidi left, they didn't sign a replacement for him. Instead, Rabiot was just pushed into the first team, and he had his most crucial year at Paris Saint-Germain last season. Still, as Padula did say, contact has been made. That doesn't mean that Chelsea have made any bids. That's why I haven't said anything about that. Now, contact could be anything. Maybe Chelsea are trying to ascertain, Rabiot's mind and perspective on what he's thinking about his career. Maybe there's even talks of maybe, if you say one more year, leave on a free, we'll have this role for you, you'll have this type of football, you'll be on this contract, etc, etc. Rabiot, if he was available on a free, makes quite a lot of sense for Chelsea right now. We know how they like to do business. Cast your minds back to Ross Barkley as well. Of course, Chelsea could even potentially try to make a move for him in January, where he's 6 months away from the end of his contract, and you can get him for a much lower reduced fee. Let's say hypothetically you sign Rabiot for, let's say, £15 million. You know that once you sign him, someone that's potentially going to be 23 years old, a French international as well, his money literally just doubles the minute you sign him. I mean, no, currently Chelsea like to put business over footballing success, so I can imagine them making a move like this because, again, it could be financially lucrative. What do I think of Rabiot? In a way, I've always seen Rabiot as Paris Saint-Germain's version of Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Very similar situations, only that Rabiot was very demanding and assertive and got what he wanted. Unfortunately, Ruben couldn't do that at Chelsea either. But I think he's an okay player. I don't necessarily feel he's amazing. I think he's decent. But again, if he was an investment signing, I could see the sense in that. Because if he was signed as an investment player, I can imagine maybe someone like a Barkley would be sold for big money, and then Rabiot would replace him, and then maybe every year Chelsea would look to conclude a deal like that. Still, in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions on Rabiot. Moving on to the next story, and that's in regards to Kasper Schmeichel. Now, this report has come up from Sky Sports, and I know with Sky Sports, a lot of people still take their stories very seriously. I don't think Sky Sports have the same influence anymore. You guys cast your minds back to last summer. Remember the reports where, people on Twitter, Chelsea Twitter, were tracking Bakayoko's flight number, and I think they did the same thing with Mahrez as well. Well, Sky Sports did obviously come into contact with the account that obviously started that. I know that because obviously I was speaking to him and he'd show me the DMs. After that, Jim Wright deleted him off Twitter, so it's not surprising. But again, most of Sky's reports and sources aren't really that. A lot of times they're just scouring through social media, or they might know a few people. But anyway, this story is coming up from Sky Sports, and they're saying that Chelsea are looking at Kasper Schmeichel, aka they're monitoring Kasper Schmeichel. So no one start panicking. Of course, it's natural for clubs to monitor a ton of targets. I mean, we all know this. Let's say you're targeting a left back. You're going to look at 10 different left backs before you pick the best ones. Now you might be thinking, why would Chelsea even monitor Kasper Schmeichel? Well, it's natural. It looks like Courtois could be leaving. Yes, he has come out stating that he hasn't necessarily guaranteed he's leaving, but his kids will play a massive part in regards to his footballing future. And with Kasper Schmeichel, he does fit that type of profile of player that Chelsea would like in goal. As I said, he's a modern day goalkeeper in the sense that he's comfortable leaving his box to obviously close down. In a sense, acting as like a rush goalie. He can distribute the ball very well, and he's got good handling, and he does fit into that style and profile. Of course, I would like us to sign Alisson. If we did get rid of Courtois, I think if you're a top class club, it's better to sign a world class option, because again, you're guaranteed that they're not going to make individual mistakes. I mean, look at clubs like Liverpool, for example. They still haven't bought a top class keeper, and how many times a season do their goalkeepers cost them big in certain games? Cast your minds back to the Champions League final. 2 massive howlers that Karius made. If that was a better goalkeeper, that's not happening, and Liverpool have a better chance at winning that game. Now, do I think that Kasper Schmeichel is an awful player? I don't actually. I kind of feel that he is underrated. He would be in my top 5 goalkeepers in the league. I feel that his passing distribution is something that gets forgotten about a lot, and he starts a lot of great counter-attacks as well. His goal kicks are very long. How many times have we seen those long passes to Jamie Vardy? I think that he is a good player. But, as I said, if Alisson could be our first target and can replace Courtois, you got to sign the guy, the Brazilian #1, a world-class goalkeeper. You have to replace world-class with world-class. And you guys, moving on to the final story, and that's in regards to Kennedy. Now, it looks like Kennedy will be leaving. Chelsea have allegedly set an asking price of 20 to 30 million pounds, but it's kind of inconsistent in regards to, what the actual asking price is, but the range is between 20 to 30 million. Now, Newcastle are very interested in signing Kennedy on a permanent, but they are put off by that asking price. It's an asking price they can't afford, and the option that Newcastle would like is to take him on loan for a year and then pay a fee at the end of that loan spell. Now, it's come out that Chelsea are open to negotiations because Kennedy really isn't part of their plans. He's not part of the manager's plans as well. It's obviously a decision made by the club, made by the board to sell him to generate some money. What's my thoughts and opinions? Well, of course, I do think it's a bit of a shame. As I keep saying with certain guys we have, guys like Boga, guys like Masunda, Kennedy, I kind of feel like if these guys were afforded 100 games playing for, a good team in a top league, I feel that, the way they'd be seen, the way they'd be rated would be very, very high. And I kind of feel that they've all been kind of played dirty in a sense. I think with Kennedy too. I mean, to finally get a loan spell after so long, the guy's like 22 years old, hasn't played more than 100 games in his career yet, which is crazy. And this seems to be the story with so many young players at Chelsea. And of course, it does fit everything that everyone thinks about in terms of the fact that Chelsea just see these young guys as moneymakers. Now, Kennedy did have a very good second spell at Newcastle. Newcastle are looking to obviously spend some money this year. Kennedy fits that profile, of course, worked fantastically well with Benitez. Benitez works very well with young players. I'm sure if you're Kennedy, you're thinking it's the smartest option to stay at Newcastle, because if I perform here for a year or two, I'm guaranteed to get a top club coming in for me. Still, I find it quite telling that there's been no talks of Chelsea offering a buyback clause in the deal. I think if they did that, maybe Newcastle could buy him for cheaper. It was that incident in China. And obviously, it's bad for business if Chelsea have someone on the books that did something quite disrespectful, even though I think it was more naive and childish, if anything. But it's not going to help Chelsea's cause when it comes to trying to capture these commercial deals, especially as they're looking to get a lot of deals made in Asia and in China. But anyway, you guys, that's going to end today's Transfer Daily video. Please like, comment and subscribe. Smash that like button. Help me get more than 500 likes for today's video. And press the bell notification button as well to stay tuned to all things Blue Line CV. I'm NiniFC. This is Blue Line CV. Signing out.